VC. How's everyone doing? Monday here. Better turn it down a bit. Picked this up yesterday. This record has blown me away. I knew it was good. This is the one that I was least familiar with. I know his first album, The New Folk Sound of Terry Callier, which came out in 1968. This is the second one that came out in 72. I just didn't realize how good it was going to be. This is so stunning. This is a reissue I picked up for really cheap. Still, yeah, this is killer. I don't know. Anyway, soul, jazz, folk, a little bit bluesy vocals with this really cool 70s funky production sort of thing. That's just, yeah, incredible. I'm so happy I got this. So yeah, I picked this up yesterday at a record fair. I picked up actually quite a few what I consider essential records, this being one of them. So this is the first Terry Callier I've got in the collection. I'd obviously like to get Occasional Rain and the first one. And even apparently the later ones, is it Fire and Ice or Fire and are really good as well, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, this is great. Sampled a lot in hip-hop circles. Yeah, so there you go. What was I think this guy was from Chicago, and I read somewhere that he was like childhood friends with Curtis Mayfield. So yeah, I've known about him for a while, but I just haven't found any of the records. But yeah, as you can hear, this is fantastic. What a great cover too. What Color Is Love? Anyway, yeah, so it's Monday here, I've got the day off. I went to a record fair with Fred and Anthony yesterday. Got some really great digs. I'm going over to New Zealand next week to Wellington, so I was meant to be saving my money for that. So I did hold back a bit. I could have got a lot more than I got, but I sort of narrowed it down. I've got about 6 records. Yeah, so had a great day, met in, spent a few hours digging, went out for lunch, and had some amazing food and a good chat. It was great, really nice day. And I spent last night listening to these records. So I sort of have an idea what I'm talking about rather than just buying them and showing them. Okay, next one, also one of the essential records I picked up. This is the debut from ESG. Stands for Emerald, Sapphire and Gold. So these guys sort of, there's 4 sisters. I think they're all related, and they've all got a really funny surname. It's something like Scroggins, or a really English surname, but these guys are actually from New York. Such an essential record in terms of the sound, and it's like a post-punk, funk, dance, I don't know. Anyway, this is I think it's an original, but it's in really great shape. I got it for a decent price. I don't know if it's like a later pressing or something, but it's basically their first EP. 6 songs, which contains the classics You Are No Good and Moody. Amazing, and produced by Martin Hanna. I had no idea that was, until I picked that record up, that was done by him. And we all know what he did with Factory Records and that sound over in Manchester. So yeah, this just sounds so punchy. It's 45 RPM, so everything's really pumped up. This is a label from 99 Records. Yeah, so I think Fred was telling me once that they're all related and their mother gave them all an instrument each, and this is what they came up with. Killer and essential. Just the this obviously influenced a lot of people going forward, and to come out in 1981, great. This is the next one I've got. Obviously, Strata East. I've never heard of this guy. I never heard of the players. George Coleman is a familiar name. I got this for a decent price, and I could see that it's in mint condition. And we all know generally the Strata East records are always good. This is like a really good like bop modal with like a soulful and a bit spiritual vibe to it. Sort of like that's sort of like typically what you'd expect from Strata East. Really tight playing, really killer. I looked up this guy and he only released 2 records, this one and one on another label, like a Titan or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, really good to have. I think it's a bit more one of the more common Strata East records, but again, I've only got one other one, so I'm really happy to double that too. So yeah, got that one. That was really cool. It's probably the 3rd essential record that I've wanted for a while and I grabbed. So another one took off the want list. Rock Bottom. Ah, great. This is so fantastic. So I thought this was an original French pressing. It's a French pressing, I think it's a bit later. So everything on here says 1974, which is obviously the year it was released, on Virgin. The labels say 74, but as far as I know, this is a later Virgin label. Like this is must be an 80s, maybe an 80s Virgin thing, but there's no other date on here. The only date on here is 1974, so I'm a bit confused. Anyway, I got this very, very cheap. I was really surprised. It was one of those moments when you're digging through the racks and you sort of go, what is that? Killer. So yeah, this was his 2nd solo album, I think. And yeah, amazing record. Might put something else on in the background. Right, so we'll do a bit of a needle drop on this one. This is the 2nd side. Anyway, sorry. Back to Robert Wyatt. So yeah, 2nd album, Rock Bottom. I think this is a record he released after he fell from a balcony and he was paralysed from the waist down. Amazing. It's just such a deep record. I put it on late last night and just sat and absorbed the whole thing, and it's just such it's just this record that sits in this bubble, and once you get in it, you can't get out. It's just like nothing I've heard. I mean, even I've got 2 other Robert Wyatt records. I've got Sleep and Old Rotten Hat, and this is just amazing. I can't describe it. Jazzy, proggy, really cool use of like keyboards and drum sounds, and the songs sort of fade together but stand out at the same time. I mean, I've just heard nothing like this record, you know. So essential, and a great lineup on here. Guy Hoffer, Robert Wyatt, and Fred Fifth, Mike Oldfield, and produced by Nick Mason. So we never know how to do the Pink Floyd stuff. Yeah, wow. A little bit of Riding Up Hit the Road, Sea Song. It's a perfect record. So happy to have it. So happy to get it cheap. And just look at that artwork, you know. Fantastic. Fantastic. So there's 3 of those records were sort of like the essential records. So I took those off the want list and I picked up a couple more quite cheap. Mal Waldron with the Steve Lacy Quintet. America Records. You guys know that I love the America Records label. Really cool. This one is like it's like a free jazz record, but it's probably obviously piano driven, being Mal Waldron, the piano player. I guess it's like, kind of reminds me of like Cecil Taylor, but maybe with like, hang on. I mean, of this record, but about 10 years later. Or maybe like this record, it wasn't live. I don't know, that's all I can think of. I actually don't have any Mal Waldron or Steve Lacy on vinyl, so this is the first time I've heard both of them. Really cool free jazz, but with like avant-garde, like weird moments where he'll just hold down the piano notes for ages while the rest of the band play over the top. Really cool. I've had all gold from the America Records label so far, so love the design in the back here. They always have the really cool black and white photos. So yeah, Mal Waldron with the Steve Lacy Quintet. This will be early 70s, I imagine. Can't remember. Last one I picked up from yesterday. Bowie, The Great Pretender. So this is a record that for some reason I see all the time in Melbourne. And it's always like between $8 and $12. And I see it around, and I see it's 1981, and I sort of go, oh, maybe it's not that great. Anyway, I saw it yesterday for cheap, and Anthony kept saying, oh, it's a great record, just get it. So picked it up. I saw the lineup too: Lester Bowie, Hammy Wyatt, Fontella bass, and I thought, why not? So the first side has this weird like avant-garde, almost big band. Didn't really dig it so much. Second side is 20 times better. Just really deep, spiritual, avant jazz, bizarre horn thing happening. I was really impressed by the recording and the sound. Obviously those ECM records generally all sound really killer. Good one to pick up if you see it cheap. So there you go, Lester Bowie, The Great Pretender, 1981 ECM. Okay, so these next two I forgot to show in my last video, so I've had them for a while. Salah Ragab and the Cairo Jazz Band, Egyptian Jazz. This is just really cool. I think this guy toured with Sun Ra. Really cool, hot Egyptian big band jazz. Just, yeah, really cool. Look at these dudes. Yeah, amazing record. So yeah, this guy, I think he was one of the first sort of Egyptian jazz bands in Egypt, and he sort of toured with Sun Ra around the US. Yeah, it just sounds like this really cool, hot. I just imagine like these really hot nights in Egypt, and like imagine walking into these Egyptian jazz bars and hearing this stuff. There's just, there's like 15, 16 piece orchestras playing this really awesome, funky, hot. It sounds Egyptian. It has African influences. It's just. I actually, funnily enough, I took it over to Anthony's house and we were playing it, and I said it reminded me of an Indiana Jones soundtrack, which probably isn't the best description, but parts of it did. Like an action scene in an Indiana Jones chase or something like that. Yeah, anyway, last record. My girlfriend is a really big fan of the UK sort of 80s and 90s band James from Manchester. So I know she's been wanting this for a while, so I grabbed it for her, and I'm not a massive fan, but she's a massive fan of the band, so I grabbed this for her, which I know there's a couple of tracks I really like on here. Born of Frustration, Mother, Sound, and Seven. So this came out in 1991 on Fontana in the UK. This is an original press I got quite cheap. Yeah, they're just one of those bands that I remember as a kid. Obviously, if you guys don't know, I was born in England and lived there till I was 17. So I remember being 12, 10, 12, 13 and hearing a lot of James on the radio and stuff like that. And this one came with this really cool tour book, which is the 1990 tour, and it's got all, I don't know if this is worth anything, but it's in mint shape, and it's got little articles about the band and some interviews, and they talk about their favourite moments. From a graphic design point of view, this is just an amazing relic of 90s graphic design. Really cool to have this. This is a really nice little thing that came. I didn't realise this was with the record until I got it home. So there you go. Look at that. So yeah, that was the last one. There's actually one more record. Well, it's actually a box set I might show as well. If I can get it out. Oh, this thing is heavy. God, this is like a... This is so heavy. This isn't my record, this is my girlfriend's record too. I'm a big fan of the band as well. This is a Calexico Road Atlas, so this is about 6 records from 98 to 2011 they put out. This is ridiculous. She wants it for ages and it came up on cheap on Discogs, so she bought it. So Calexico, I'm sure most of you know who they are. They're sort of like a alternative country, western soundtrack, Mexican sort of sound thing, artist band slash. So there's about 6 records in here. We already have a few of these, but there's some we don't have. This is a really cool soundtrack that came out in 2010. This is one of my favourite by these guys. This is a live set in Brussels. Focuses more on the I guess like you call it Latin side of things. A live record. This is this weird record that has, they're playing around with a lot of sound effects and weird things like that. There's a whole stack, like there's a ridiculous amount. So I think she now basically has every Calexico record, and there's about 30 or so. It's a bit extreme, but I didn't pay for it. Comes with a cool booklet. So yeah, there you go. That's like, when you walk into my see and look at my records, it's the first thing you notice because it's just so thick. But yeah, we've been going through these, listening to them. So anyway, I should say she's actually overseas, working overseas at the moment for 6 months, but she gets to fly back every weekend with work. So whenever she comes back, we always listen to a couple of these. It's almost become a routine now. Anyway, that doesn't matter. That's not related to the VC. I'm just talking. So yeah, that's all that. I've got the day off today, so I may try and make a couple more videos. I really want to do a thank you to all the VCLT I received. I mean, I pulled it out and showed it, but I didn't really explain the music or anything like that, so I want to do a bit of a roundup and all the things I've got. And I've got a couple of things through trade as well that I want to show, so depending on how I go, I might make a couple more videos. But yeah, that is all. I'll talk to you guys later.